We are back with Democratic Congressman Gabe Albo of Rhode Island. I'm glad we got you back because it's important to have you in this discussion because we're discussing President Trump's attacks on the Somali community in Minnesota. You yourself, the son of people that were born outside of the country, and you're raising children in the country. So given your own situation, what's your reaction to this whole attack to Somalis in Minnesota?
Well, thanks for having me on, Reverend. The fact of the matter is, this is a continuation of Donald Trump and his attacks on people of color, specifically the African community and people across this country who work hard and are trying to build a good life in this country. He has transformed from a dog whistle to a loud dog bark. And it's unfortunate to see the Oval Office be a venue for such hatred and racist remarks that really undermine our values here in this country.
Now, I want to stick with this for a moment. Just yesterday, the Supreme Court announced they will be hearing the case of whether Trump's efforts to end birthright citizenship with an executive order is constitutional. While many lawyers have indicated that this is essentially a cut and dry issue, the Supreme Court has surprised us before in its deference to Trump. And this birthright citizenship goes back to the Dred Scott decision in slavery. How concerned are you about this case?
Well, look, the legal precedent is clear. For 150 years in this country, we have had an established law, and when challenged, it has sustained. However, my concern runs deep because of the consistent attacks on, frankly, all immigration out of the Trump administration. This consistent attack is yielding great fear and uncertainty for countless people here in our country. And so I am cautiously optimistic that the precedent will reign. But of course, this is another attack that undermines our values in America.
Earlier this week, Trump welcomed the leaders of Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo to the White House, allegedly to broker a peace treaty between the two nations who've been fighting over minerals and resources for decades. And while the fighting on the ground paused during the talks, within 24 hours, the fighting and bombing continued. What are your thoughts on Trump thinking he can play peacemaker in this situation?
This is Donald Trump with another deceptive advertising process. The fact of the matter is, he wanted to rename the Institute of Peace after himself. He is in great pursuit of a Nobel Peace Prize, so much so that FIFA gave him his own Peace Prize. And the truth on the ground is we need a stable commitment to diplomacy, a real commitment to seeing this through, and not just a focus, as usual from Donald Trump, on enriching his billionaire friends who want to focus on extracting rare earth materials. That is short-sighted and does not give the people in the region the safety and security and lasting peace that they deserve.
Now, while Trump attempts to play peacemaker and collects so-called peace awards from sports organizations, his administration is ratcheting up tensions in Venezuela. Earlier this week, Navy Admiral Frank Bradley briefed select members of Congress on the details of the bombing of the alleged drug boat in the Caribbean this September that has Defense Secretary Hegseth in a hot water. What can you tell us about this briefing, and what is your level of confidence in the Pentagon leadership right now?
Well, I did not see this video or participate in this briefing, but I have heard from many of my colleagues on the Armed Services Committee and on the Intelligence Committee who said what they learned was disturbing. The visuals were disturbing. But the president has said there's nothing wrong with the video footage. So out of an abundance of transparency, we need to see that video footage. We also need to see a real, robust hearing in public settings of the Secretary of Defense and Admiral Bradley. I want to know where the Secretary of Defense was. If it is the case that he did not execute an order or put forward an order for Admiral Bradley to execute, where was he? What was his mindset and what was his direction? Because the fact of the matter is, this is unsettling. So we need a public airing of facts as soon as possible. Congress needs and deserves a seat at the table to make this clear for the American people.
And I might add, we learned now that the boat was going to a vessel and the vessel wasn't even headed to the United States. But before I let you go, earlier this week, you held a town hall in your district to discuss the looming Obamacare health care premium crisis that could skyrocket premiums for as many as 40,000 of Rhode Islanders. What are you hearing from your constituents?
I'm hearing so much fear from people all across my congressional district, and I'm hearing the same from my Democratic colleagues who are hearing heartbreaking stories of impossible decisions being placed at the feet of their constituents across this country who will need to decide whether they are able to pay for health care or pay for food or pay for rent. This does not have to be this way. Republicans should come to the table, work with Democrats, and move forward either on the discharge petition that Leader Jeffries is leading that has every single House Democrat on it, or come forward and let's pass legislation that extends the ACA tax credits and lets people get the health care that they deserve. And so I'll keep fighting alongside my colleagues, but the pain is real and we only have a few weeks to go.
All right. Thank you for being with us, Rhode Island Representative Gabe Amo.